Hi there, and welcome to the RBT review course presented by Stellar, an ABA clinic in Las Vegas. My name is Ramela Lee, and I will be guiding you through the second edition RBT task list. Before you begin taking data, you have to review the skill acquisition plan, also referred to as the program binder if your company is not paperless. The plan will have several components that are going to be useful to you. One of the first pieces of information that the skill acquisition plan is going to have are the target behaviors. These maladaptive behaviors are operationally defined, and they represent the behaviors that you want to decrease, such as physical aggression and elopement. Target behaviors are written in an objective manner that can be observed and recorded. Learning how to operationally define a behavior takes time. But what you want to remember is that emotions like happy and internal states like anxiety are not part of the definition. You also need to remember that labels such as frustrated are not behaviors because they have different meaning to different people. Shyness, for example, might mean the lack of eye contact for me, but may include the lack of eye contact and hiding for you. The second important piece of information that the skill acquisition plan provides is the therapy setting and the limitations of the setting. For example, is the session conducted in the home setting? If so, where? In the living room? In the child's bedroom? In the office? After identifying the setting, the plan will list the requirements for the setting. Examples include tabletop activities, a visual schedule, and PECs. It will also list distractors for the setting, such as open windows, loud music, and bright lights. Finally, the plan will have a blank data sheet. It doesn't matter if you are using an electronic or paper data sheet, as both contain the same information. The four basic components of any data sheet are the session date, the client information, the goals, and the session notes. To recap, the skill acquisition plan provides you with four important pieces of information: the target behavior, the setting requirements, and a blank data sheet. How do you prepare for data collection? You review the skill acquisition plan. When we examine measurement procedures, we have two main types: continuous and discontinuous. Continuous means that the data is based on direct observation for the complete duration of data taking. I repeat, direct observation. The three main types of continuous and direct data taking measures are frequency, how many times the behavior occurs; duration, how much time it takes for the behavior to complete; and latency, how long it takes for the client to respond to the instruction. Frequency is a straightforward continuous measurement procedure. It simply requires you to observe the client and tally how many times the target behavior occurs. We only use frequency for behaviors that have a clear beginning and end. Examples would include a client getting out of their seat or shouting out. On the other hand, behaviors that occur at a high rate and are unclear on how and where they began and ended are not ideal for frequency recording. In your study materials, you are going to see the term rate. The rate recording procedure is similar to frequency. You are just adding a time component. Let's examine hand-biting behaviors. The raw frequency, so the total tally, for hand-biting across Monday and Tuesday was 17, 7 on Monday, and 10 on Tuesday. Based on those numbers, we would assume that Tuesday had a higher level of hand-biting than Monday. However, if we apply rate to the same data, we see different results. Hand-biting occurred 3.5 times every 15 minutes on Monday, versus 2.5 times every 15 minutes on Tuesday. Although the raw frequency was higher for Tuesday, the rate shows a decrease. The second continuous measurement procedure is duration. Duration refers to how long it takes to complete a given task. To record duration data, you start the timer when the behavior begins and end the timer when the behavior is over. An example of a behavior that is measured using duration would be how long a tantrum lasts or how long the client is engaged with the reinforcer. Duration recording is beneficial if you are measuring how long or short a behavior lasts. However, it is very difficult to take duration data if the behavior that you are observing requires support, such as property destruction or violent tantrums. Let's compare frequency and duration on the behavior of increasing brushing teeth. On Monday, there were 2 instances within 30 minutes, and on Tuesday, there were 3 instances within 1 hour, bringing the total frequency to 5 instances of brushing teeth. If we measure the behavior using duration instead of frequency, we see that toothbrushing had a duration of 5 minutes per occurrence on Monday and 8 minutes per occurrence on Tuesday. This tells us that duration is a more appropriate measurement procedure than frequency when examining how long the client engaged in the behavior. The final continuous measurement procedure is latency. Latency refers to how long it takes for the client to initiate the instruction or the discriminative stimulus, known as SD. To record using latency, you start the timer when you give the instruction and you end the timer when the client initiates the instruction. Example behaviors would include how long it takes for the client to follow one-step directions, such as sit down, or respond to name with eye contact. So the biggest and clearest difference between latency and duration is that latency measures the time between the SD and the initiation, whereas duration measures how long it takes to complete the task. This brings us to the end of A1 and A2. Here you have a quick summary with bullet points about all the information that we covered. If you need any more help, please refer to your literature.